This week on Coffin Fodder, warm up those vocal cords and get ready for that circle pit, because we are talking the 2015 horror comedy Dethgasm.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
I like to dissect girls.
This is God.
We have such sights to show you.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
And there's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
I see dead red.
Even in hell.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no tears, please.
They're here.
Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Coffin Fodder. I am your host, Mike Warby, and I'm joined by a man who eats his ice cream with an inverted cross, Kyle Middleborough.
Sweet, that's me.
And of course, a man who never leaves home without his corpse paint, Brady Silger.
Yes, I do. You're awesome at this, Mike. Fuck,
I'm
getting better.
They get better and better every
better.
episode.
Oh, I try. I try.
I ram down my dream journal before I go to bed so I don't forget.
And this week, our little Brady Silger pick here, it is Dethgasm. Dethgasm. we all have to get one.
Yeah, dude.
Just to show at least a tiny ounce of metal cred.
Yeah.
Before we talk about this very metal heavy episode.
Hell yeah. I have to say, we're all metalheads.
Yeah. Love me some metal.
Yeah.
I don't dress it, but...
No, me either.
Yeah, but I do love it.
I'm wearing corpse paint right now.
Yeah, I know.
And
I can see it. On your dick.
Rib for her pleasure.
Or his, if that's what you're into.
So, Dethgasm is a movie about... So yeah, this is a movie about a dude named Brody. Not Brady, but Brody. Close
but he's
enough.
our Brody.
Yeah. He's our Brody, yes.
Our Brody Brady.
A bro. So yeah, this is about a metalhead named Brody. Who hangs with his friends, his nerd friends, and his kind of outcast, loser high school guys, and they kind of come into possession of
the pick of destiny.
Essentially,
yeah.
They get the metal MacGuffin thing,
yeah.
and then something happens with the metal MacGuffin thing,
yeah.
And now things are very metal.
The Black Hymn.
Yeah, which is a good name.
It is.
That would be a good name for a metal band, actually.
Yeah, would be a good name for a podcast.
Dominus Demios, or it's Dominus Desmios. It's all Latin. Dominus Desmios Destructor.
Nectar.
Necronomicon. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I was doing the Bruce Campbell bit from our
Naratu.
Yes. Oh boy. Great movie. Anyways, another future episode.
Oh, I hope.
Yeah. But yeah, since we're starting talking about the metal aspects of this movie before we get too crazy. Mm-hmm. Let me rip down some of my metal. So Zach is spelled Z-A-K-A or Z-A-K-K, okay, like Zach Wilde of Black Label Society.
Yeah, I picked up on that one.
So that's one I caught. The fact that they spell Dethgasm D-E-T-H, that's a reference to Death Clock from Metalocalypse.
Yeah. And Megadeth is...
And also them, and Megadeth. Yeah. And them also saying brutal throughout.
Yeah, brutal.
Reminded me of Metalocalypse.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah.
They also say Brotherhood of Steel, which is Judas Priest. And they reference Judas Priest quite a bit throughout the movie.
There's a lot. There's also a very conspicuous Cannibal Corpse poster. It feels like this movie was kind of sponsored by Cannibal Corpse and Trivium.
Yeah.
Because there's Cannibal Corpse and Trivium throughout.
Everywhere.
It's like one of them's walking around with a Trivium badge on even. Mm-hmm. And then every time they're talking in that, there's that prominently featured Cannibal Corpse poster.
Yeah, there's a Trivium one too. There's a big Trivium poster in someone's room or something
it's in Brody's room.
It's in Brody's room.
And then the last one I noticed was when he's showing her, which is a pretty funny scene, him showing her metal albums.
Yeah.
And they're all just fucking the most grotesque, fucked up.
The most anal cunts or whatever.
The most fucked up album covers and fucked up names and shit. And one of them was Human Year, the album from Cattle Decapitation, who I've seen live. I saw them live in this very city at the Exchange. I saw Cattle Decapitation. Okay. So that, I don't know, did you guys catch any other metal references that I missed?
I enjoy the music, but I'm not steeped enough in the culture to catch all of these things.
There was an Infinite Annihilator reference. It was a very short track when when Zach's fucking some shit up towards the end of the movie.
Right. Okay.
But
cool.
let's getting ahead of ourselves. And I was gonna say also, when Brody's explaining his backstory, there is also Cannibal Corpse playing in the background.
Right. Okay. I didn't actually recognize that. Maybe it was earlier Cannibal Corpse.
I think it was like early Cannibal Corpse.
Because I didn't really get into Cannibal Corpse until they switched to Corpse Grinder.
Yeah.
The early. That's actually funny because I've always thought of this. Now we're just going to do a Cannibal Corpse
just a
podcast.
metal episode.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I mean, hopefully there are people listening who could
feel
possibly care about the nuance of metal.
I feel like horror and metal are so closely intertwined anyway.
For sure.
For most of our listeners, internationally and domestically, will appreciate the metal references.
Well, the early, interestingly, because we were talking about video games a little bit the last episode and like the structure of them. When I always hear old school Cannibal Corpse, it reminds me. It makes me think of Ganon from Link to the Past. And if he had like a metal band,
yeah, it would
it's
be
like oi 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 oi.
pig demons. Yeah,
yeah, it just sounds like a pig. Sounds like
demon.
a pig demon, man. Exactly what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm more of a late period Cannibal Corpse kind of guy.
I am too.
Corpse Grinder period is my jam.
Yeah. Well, Corpse Grinder wasn't in the band in the film Ace Ventura.
I know.
Like that was before.
Mm-hmm. So yes, Dethgasm. So yeah, we meet Brody. It's very clear. He unfolds his backstory, which doesn't really matter, and I was really surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because we get like a big. It's very similar to Mayhem. The movie starts with kind of an info dump.
Right. Yeah. There's actually a lot of similarities between the two movies.
Well, they're both kind of fluff.
Yeah, fluffy,
kind of
actiony, gore.
Indie movies that couldn't. They're kind of using little effects here and there to save money because they can't really necessarily show the level of chaos they would like to show.
Right. But
because of the budget, right?
Yeah, but
so they're kind of working around it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But so his backstory involves the fact that his mom was a
She
meth
was a
addict?
meth addict that blew a Santa in a crowded mall, and then
which
he got
is
sent
again weird because none of that has anything to do with anything. You could just basically say, I'm basically Harry Potter. I am the kid with no parents who's being raised by relatives who hate me.
So
essentially is what we're doing here.
The director actually said that he didn't put it in the film. It's in the director's cut that's still waiting to be released. That Brody wasn't a metalhead before any of this. He was like the photo that you see that his cousin rips up of him and his mother.
Yep.
He looked like a good Christian boy, like a well-dressed man, as one would say.
I didn't see
and then
that.
After his mother got institutionalized,
so that's meant to be
and
the impetus for him going into this darker.
Yeah, and when he's talking to Medina, thank you. He's like, oh yeah, listening to metal gets you through so many different emotions, and that's like a backstory that they're trying to explain without telling.
I genuinely thought his little explanation of it's very similar to how I explain the appeal of metal to people.
I think that's how most people fall into it, right?
It's like
catharsis.
Yeah, it's just like for me. One thing I've always said about metal is that it's like a very safe way to express your anger. Mm-hmm. Because anger is can be a really tumultuous, dangerous emotion to let out. Yep. But if you let it out when you're just listening to metal, especially if you're at a metal show, you can even get rowdy and really let your aggression out. And that's sort of what he's saying to her is it lets you connect with this darkness in someone else that reminds you that you're not the only person who feels this way,
and allow you to get it out or purge.
Yeah, get it out of your system. It's just a super healthy way to get negative emotions out of your system.
You're not being malice towards people when you're running around. You're having fun, enjoying the music, and just running into each other as hard as you possibly can. And when I don't know about I haven't partied in the U.S., but here in Canada. At a show, if you get knocked down, people will stop in the show.
That's what I was going to say.
Pick you up, dust you off, and then throw you back into the crowd.
Hell yeah, they will.
Yeah. And then until you start running back, then they're like, okay, this kid's ready to fuck shit up.
Hell yeah. So yeah, that is. I felt that scene that you mentioned where he's sort of talking about that was worth kind of diving into.
Absolutely.
But let's get back to the beginning.
Sure.
So we meet Brody. He's bullied by his cousin, who's a dickhead.
Stupid head.
He's a huge jock.
Yeah, jock asshole. Classic jock asshole.
Yeah, the ones that bully metalheads and the nerds, and which Brody's a D&D player. Well, not essentially. He's friends with the D&D guys.
He plays with his friends. So yeah, he's a
Yeah.
D&D player, even if his friend's way more into it, obviously.
Yeah.
But-
Nerds.
Yeah. So Dion is his D&D friend, I think. I think Dion was the
Dion is the dungeon master, and then
Giles
is the
which has to be a Buffy reference. There's no way that's not a Buffy reference.
You don't think so? You do think so?
It has to be.
Why?
Why the name Giles?
Because where they're from, maybe it's a really popular name.
I think it has to be. I think that had to be a nod to Buffy.
The demon thing was
especially
also
they're fighting demons.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing.
It had to be. Like as soon as I heard Giles, I'm like Giles.
It is New Zealand,
and they're fighting demons. I'm like, come on.
Isn't the actor who plays?
He's English.
He's English. He's not New Zealand.
I think he's.
I don't know what you call him.
Yeah. I don't know. It's accurate.
I think he's English. He plays English in the show. I honestly wouldn't know. No, Anthony Stewart has English because he came up on the BBC. That's where he got his start.
Yep,
on the BBC
all the
shows.
New Zealand shows.
BBC shows.
BBC.
Oh well, then I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty sure. Yes, we've met all of his friends except for Zach, who's sort of the new guy in school, right?
He's not in school. He meets him at the records shop.
Oh,
yes.
right.
Brody has nowhere to go.
Records.
He has nowhere to go, and he finds this really sweet metal store.
Yeah.
And music store that happens to have a lot of metal shit.
Yeah, and a very rare copy of an album.
Yeah, from a band
legendary band,
which doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. No.
With Ricky Daggers.
Ricky Daggers is like he's the sort of. As I understood, his backstory was he was like a guy who basically a rich former metal star who blew all his money on drugs and shit, and then now he's squatting in like a house in their town essentially. Right?
Yeah,
and that's kind of what unites them. Is he says like, do you want to go see something crazy or whatever?
I thought he was an Iggy Pop impersonator.
That's I got that the first time I watched this movie, and I was like, that's Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
He's not wearing a shirt. Iggy Pop doesn't wear a shirt.
He looks just like
he's meant to be. Yeah, I think you guys are probably onto something with the Iggy Pop thing that he's meant to be like that because he's also very skinny.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna
and
say,
kind of kind of crazy.
Yeah. Danzig. Well, I guess Danzig's a lot bigger, but also like another crazy fucking metal guy.
That reminds me, Zach looks like Danzig.
Yeah.
Immediately when I saw him. I was like, he looks like Danzig. I'm like, does he look like Danzig? And then I googled Danzig, and I was like, fuck yeah, he looks like Danzig, man.
We know who his father is, but who's his mother?
Oh my god, get out of here! Oh boy. Yes. So that's kind of how those two meet. They become united and decide to go to supposedly this place where Ricky Daggers is squatting.
Yeah. To steal to steal the album, right? Is that what
it's the only super rare album that no one can get their hands on, and they find the Black Hammer.
Yeah.
But also, it turns out Ricky Dagger isn't dead.
He's alive,
but he looks really dead.
Yeah.
He looks like he OD'd, and that's why they're like
he probably did.
And he's trying. So Zach tries to pry the album out of his cold dead hands. He thinks, and then turns out he's alive. But Ricky Daggers, they get the album. Ricky Daggers lets them take it after he's kind of like threatening them and all that shit, and like kind of going a little wild on them. But then some dude shows up in a suit with like an axe. Did he have an axe?
It was a knife. It was a big like not a Rambo. I was gonna say like a Bowie knife, like a Rambo style.
Okay, so a big like a machete, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay. So he shows up with a large knife and machete, something like that. And once he realizes that because that's what it is. That's how they found out about him. It was his address or like where he was squatting was published in the zine.
Yeah.
And they follow the zine or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and for those who are unaware of what zines are, they were like these things that people used to do mostly. Like the zines aren't really a thing anymore, but it's like people used to like have their own printing presses essentially and make their own little like magazines, and they called them zines about whatever thing they liked, and this was a metal zine. Anyway, that's where they got the information. Once they relay that to him, he knows that the other people are coming for him, because if they found it, the other people are gonna find it also.
He also says to Brody and Zach when they enter, he's like, "Oh, you guys are the ones trying to hunt me down."
Because they sent you to get me.
Like he knows what he has. I don't know where he got it from because they don't really explain that, but
it's just a MacGuffin. Who gives?
He's supposed to be like the god of metal,
right,
in that universe, but. There's also actual musicians.
Where did Marcellus Wallace get the fucking suitcase in Pulp Fiction? Nobody cares.
What's in the suitcase?
It just matters because it's important in the movie.
It's the thing.
Yeah.
The MacGuffin.
Yes, exactly. So they get it. Ricky Daggers is summarily killed by the
suit.
The sort of enforcer suit guy.
Yeah.
Who shows up.
He only shows up for that scene. He's not in like the rest of the movie.
He's in one more scene.
Well, he's in one more scene where because I thought he was going to be that. The one thing this movie keeps doing is switching up who the fucking bad guy is. Because I'm like, oh, so this is the bad guy, and then it's like, no, actually, this is the bad guy. No, never mind. It's this person, and then it's this person.
And then it ends up,
to a certain extent, I think it almost weakens the movie to a certain extent
because it has no real villain. Hey,
because you don't have someone to focus on as the villain, and I think that's problematic to a certain extent.
Yeah,
but before we go any further, we really have to introduce Medina.
Yeah, we should. She's important
because she becomes like probably the second main character, maybe second to third.
She's the third, but she's also the love interest. So
which is why
she completes the triangle.
She makes it. She's a pivotal character. Obviously.
She is the third in threesome.
Yes,
the most important piece.
Yes. Fun fact: the actress that plays Medina was the first female Red Ranger in Power Rangers.
Oh shit!
For a small stint in Power Ranger Samurai in 2012, which are around the time after this movie came out. No, wait.
And this is 20.
And at this point, 15. I'm going to take the opportunity to remind everyone that Brady's never had sex.
Yeah. I just talk about Power Rangers all the time. Girls don't like that.
What? Why not? It's Mighty Morphin Time, bitches. Watch this thing more.
Do you want to see my dinosaur?
Okay. Yes.
I have had sex, by the way.
No, I'm sure he has. I mean, I'm not sure because I haven't watched, but
I know that he has.
Yes. Medina is sort of the popular girl at the school. She's very pretty, your stereotypical cute blonde girl that every guy likes at the school, right? Yeah. And naturally, Brody also thinks she's very attractive because, she's very attractive.
Because she's not ugly.
Yeah. Brody's cousin's also kind of.
That's what I was going to jump to. Is that's hence the rivalry that spikes up between them even more because his cousin already bullies him. Yeah. I think partially because he's different, but also partially because he's the only child, and then this kid is in his house now. Essentially, so he has an extra reason to sort of, again, like Harry Potter, like the Dursley kid, right? Mm-hmm.
It all comes back to Harry Potter.
Yeah. So Medina, is like, seems like your typical preppy cute girl. Mm-hmm. But when Brody introduces her to, you know what I thought was so funny about that? So they have the meet cute, and they hang out in the park. Yeah. And it's extra funny because he's in his corpse paint from with the upside down with the inverted cross on his forehead and everything. And she asks him if he wants to eat ice cream with her. Yeah. So they're hanging out eating ice cream together, that's how I know about this movie. Is I saw that still. Oh, okay. I've seen that still lots of times.
There's a lot of memes online of just that scene of the metalhead guy and the preppy kind of cheerleader eating ice.
So. Yes, Medina is, she's sort of smitten with Brody. So this sort of harkens back, what's that movie? Brain Scan. Mm-hmm. Where despite the fact that he's like sort of the weird metal nerd.
The beautiful girl
the
still likes him.
The super cute, essentially regular popular girl. Yeah. Is still really into him.
Sees him for the human he is.
Yes. So this is sort of like the classic. It's wish fulfillment.
This whole movie is wishful thinking.
We all wish. Yeah. Like anybody who was like the weird kid in high school wishes that the hot girl secretly liked you all along.
And that's actually something I noticed throughout this movie is, and that's originally why I didn't like it the first time I watched it, or I shouldn't say I didn't like it, it didn't click with me the first time I watched it because it's very much like a young adult movie. It seems like it's written by, portrayed for like a young 20-something into late teenage years maybe.
And as you
so it missed me, man. For the first time I watched it, and there's a lot of cool shit happening, but it missed me the first time.
It was written by like my
yeah.
As it was also like a kind of a fan film. They also did a movie called Selfbound.
Oh, okay.
Which is a totally different movie, but it's also like a Satanist style movie. But
it's so self-indulgent in its metal vibes, right?
Yeah.
Down to like the hot chicks and their tits, and when he's in the dream phase playing his guitar, right? Like that's such teenage angst or teenage dreams, I guess.
Well, I read online that he wrote this essentially based on his teenage years,
which makes sense,
which translates very well.
Yeah,
she's the. I'm assuming that the hot preppy girl, didn't actually have a crush on him, and this is just like what he wanted his life to be at that time, essentially.
Yeah. The whole thing, like with the Black Ham, is like, oh yeah, you get power, you get money, you get anything you wish, and even the chick that you see her tits, she's like, oh, you could have had all the money and the power and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, that's all just like a Wishmaster fantasy where it's just the demon's gonna take over and fucking destroy the world.
Right, he's not there to actually give somebody.
It's the classic deal with the devil.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You sell your soul for whatever, and then eventually you're the one who's gonna pay.
Yeah.
And like all these stories, Brody and Medina kind of connect. There's a little hint early on where her boyfriend, the cousin, is
Ceylon,
kind of talking about how much he hates Brody.
Yeah.
And how like what he likes to do to like fuck with him or whatever.
Yeah,
and she mentions that, you bullying people isn't really a turn on. Which
turd
is meant to be, I think, your first hint that maybe she kind of has some sympathy and empathy for this guy.
She hasn't a thought for Brady there.
Yeah, so
I'm not even gonna. I'm just letting go with that one.
So yeah, I mean that kind of catches us back up to where where Zach and Brody had gotten the metal, the Black Ham.
They found the Black Ham,
and then they kind of start their metal band. And what was it called again?
Dethgasm.
Yes, they start their metal band, and yes, it is called Dethgasm. Hence the name
of the movie.
Hence the name of the film.
Also, I think one of the names is Tooth Vagina, which the movie Teeth.
Oh right, yeah.
Came out around the same time as this.
Yeah. Well, because you mentioned that, I gotta say the opening credits, all-timer opening credits. There's like with there's literally, speaking of Cannibal Corpse, there's entrails being ripped through a virgin's cunt in the opening, and like all the random drawings, like the animated opening that opens the film. And then there's also a shot of a guy playing a guitar that's a giant dick.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I glazed over a little bit, but I noticed some of those. Yeah,
okay.
I noticed the giant.
One thing that I love metal.
Yeah,
but a lot of like the 90s. Early 2000s, a lot of the like imagery was dicks.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know if it was like them trying to like get over the precipice of like, oh yeah, there's no gender, like no gender in metal. It's everyone's one form. Like
I don't even think it's that deep. I think honestly, I just think metal is just a genre of extremes
and shock horror.
Yeah.
Like
I guess Guar is also a good representation of that.
Yes.
Yep.
Because they were the big like shock horror band at the time, and
yep.
I've seen Guar live twice. Actually,
I've seen him live more times than you have, Mike.
Yeah.
I've only seen him twice.
That's okay. You probably were at the same two shows.
Yeah.
This is Tangent.
We're Tangent City.
Tangent Supreme episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes. Dethgasm.
Dethgasm.
Yes.
And they start practicing.
Yes, and then they play the Black Hymn essentially, which starts the process of what the movie is going to be. because these were, and we were all just calling them Deadites, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they were definitely just.
They're just Deadites.
Yeah. I liked the makeup, especially around the eyes. I thought that was really cool. Some of the effects of, I assume it was prosthetics.
I believe most of the
this
stuff
was
is prosthetics.
Yeah.
There is a bit of CG in the movie, and you can kind of tell.
Pretty
but
low. It's pretty low. Yeah.
The CGI I really noticed as there's two scenes as the chaos is getting. The idea is once they've played the Black Hymn, they've sort of released this dark force.
Yeah.
Very much again like Evil Dead when they play the recording of the reading the Necronomicon or whatever. This is very much that, and how that just by releasing that, it releases this evil force into the world.
What I loved about this movie is, like, other movies will take it like, oh, they play the song and everyone on the planet gets it. No, it's only the neighborhood they're in.
Yeah.
And then it spreads out from there.
Yeah. But it's not, like, no, it's only the neighborhood that can hear their music. They also, like, show it, like a, I don't want to say drone shot, because I don't think drones were popular.
No, but the reason I assume it spread is because later on, there's a wide shot. One of the main CG things I noticed was the huge wide shot of all the houses, and there's like 5 of them are on fire, and it looks like the entire town.
It did spread after they played it.
It did spread, but they also played it multiple times.
Yeah, after they'd summoned the demon, it spread.
But it does spread, but also
the first time
initially it's only the people in the neighborhood. Well, they're playing their garage band, so the people who can hear the music from there,
and the hymn is so brutal. Everybody starts bleeding from their eyes and shit.
The baby in the fucking stroller made me laugh so fucking hard.
Yeah, because it's just it's just everybody starts puking blood and like blood coming out of their eyes and shit. And then there was just a mom with her baby, and the blood just shoots out of the fucking stroller. I think there's always, because baby trauma is so rare.
Yeah,
it's always almost kind of funny.
It's always a little comical
when it happens.
Yeah, because it's always like it's a shock all the time.
Which is totally matches up with a movie about metal, because metal is all about shock value. That's literally all it is.
To bring up Brain Dead, the baby in that.
Yep.
They also kind of But also another Peter Jackson film. Giles' character is wearing a bad taste shirt. He's wearing Peter Jackson's first ever horror movie.
I have to ask: have you guys seen Treevenge?
No.
The movie. It was like an experimental short made by the guy who made Hobo with a Shotgun, Jason Eisner.
Yep.
Anyway, it's about Christmas trees killing people.
Sweet. To
get revenge, hence Treevenge.
Yeah.
But it ends with the mom drops her baby and starts crying, and then one of the trees jumps on the fucking baby's head and blows it up.
Holy shit!
And that's the end of Treevenge, and it's again obviously it's so ridiculous, it's hilarious. Like, you're not even bothered by it. It's just that's my favorite. That's my favorite baby trauma in horror.
Yeah.
Right, so back to the movie.
They play the Black Hymn the first time,
right?
But they don't play it very well. They suck. Brody plays the guitar like shit.
Yeah, he's supposed to be he tells Zach he's a really phenomenal guitar player, and he can't play.
No, he sucks. So they don't play it well. So it doesn't work all the way the first time they play it.
Yeah, Zach is very much like the really cool metalhead guy who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. And
then the other guys are sort of trying to impress him because he's so fucking
brutalist.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Yeah.
So, that they play the hymn. It starts. People start getting it. The teacher gets it first, I think.
It's Brody's uncle.
Cousins.
It's Brody's uncle that gets, because they're playing outside the house.
Oh, so he's the one who's banging on the garage door.
Yeah.
Who gets transformed first.
Yeah, and he the teacher's the next one where after they play again, and he starts shitting blood and then puking all over the one girl wearing the white sweater.
The white sweater and the blonde girl.
That was so funny.
Yeah, covered in red.
You thought it was going to be Medina.
I thought it was Medina, and then I realized
because she's the one that answers the question, or asks him, "Are you okay?" Mm-hmm. And he starts running towards her and pukes on.
And then turns out there's a girl in front of her.
Yeah, wearing almost the exact same sweater too, but a different color.
Which is funny because Everybody else gets up and backs to like the back corner of the room,
except
for her.
She stays,
and she gets blasted with blood puke,
and then waits,
and then she sits there being like ew, as he like basically repairs, and then he does it a second time.
Fucking awesome. One of my favorite parts.
There's a lot of blood, like practical blood in this movie.
There's tons. Well, we skipped just by a little bit, but I want to just... One of my favorite kills in this movie was the guy that kills Ricky Daggers and cuts his throat, the henchman dude. When he returns to his boss and says that he fails, and the boss is all, there's no room for failures.
That's worth mentioning because that's the first villain swap.
Right.
Where we swap from him to his boss, and he gets executed instantly.
Right. They cut off his head all over his carpet, and he's like, oh,
you're supposed to put plastic down.
Do it again. So they drag him out, hold his head back up, and kill him again.
You know what I thought they were going to do in that scene?
What's that?
I thought they were going to jam a stick.
Yeah. Oh, and then slam the head on top?
Put the head back on so they could cut it off again. That's what I was thinking they were going to do.
I think it's funnier the way they did it. Like, they're the one other guy with the mask is
they're basically miming. Yeah, they're miming.
And the boss goes, that's great. As he's getting a blowjob, too.
Right, yeah. That's when the future evil lady pops up for the first time.
Right, because later on she becomes who we think the villain is, and then later on they swap it one more time right at the end.
Right, yeah, and it's not super important. So, spoiler alert, she ends up killing the big bad guy to take over his position as the...
again, just comes out of
nowhere. Right?
Comes out of nowhere, and it's like, I don't know. It feels almost like stream of consciousness, kind of like when he was writing it.
Yeah,
because it just feels like
actually. But then,
and then this happened, and then this,
exactly.
like very much
you're
like
not supposed to.
How a little kid would tell a story.
Absolutely, yeah. But he was the big bad boss, and then he killed her, and then he became absolutely.
There's a scene when they're talking to Brody's cousin's friend that also we didn't talk about when Brody's in the bathroom and his cousin's friend. I will eat your. He's gonna come down.
Right. That scene is really funny because because Brody's not registering it at all.
No,
the fact that there's a guy floating up next to him, going.
It's just him being a douche again.
Yeah. And you will have your balls roasted in hell. And then he's like, yeah, whatever, and just keeps going on. Yeah. But that's worth mentioning because Brody's the cousin and the friend beat the shit out of him once they found out that he was hanging out with Medina.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they rip his piercing out, and that's the impetus for him to sort of master the Black Hymn.
Yeah, he wants the power and the wealth and the fame that comes from summoning the demons.
Basically,
the movies.
Yeah.
Where we basically get what this movie is going to be. He knows what he's doing, but nobody else knows.
Right.
So when they replay it, they really release the fucking dark energy.
Oh yeah.
And now we've got like the whole town's fucked essentially.
Yeah. Pale satin.
Yes.
Also, Zach, when they're driving, watch the world or watch the city burn. This place fucking sucks. Yeah. Also, the entire time, like throughout the movie, he's like, "Yeah, this town sucks. Yeah. No one comes here. There's no metal scene. They're like, I think they're the only two metalheads in the town."
Well, but since you brought that up, I gotta say, Zach, bad friend. Zach, bad friend, man.
Real piece of turd.
Because he fucking sells his Brody. He sells Brody out.
Yeah. In a bad
because Medina wants to hook up.
Yeah.
And she hands the note to Zach to give to Brody. And Brody, as soon as Brody smells it, I'm like, you piece of shit, man.
He's a turd.
You can't sell your buddy out like that, man. Yeah. Your buddy locked down his dream girl here, and you're gonna sell him down the river like that?
Yeah.
He does it a second time when Giles and
he hides it.
They have we're going to the school.
Yeah.
Meet us there, and Zach takes the note off the door.
Yeah.
And puts it in his pocket.
Yep.
And then you find out that Zach and Medina, I want to say Medina were like made out, but like.
Well, we saw that.
Yeah, but we know.
Brody finds out.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But like the way he finds out is because Zach's leather jacket is in her bag, and
right. I don't even know if that plot works. I don't know why necessarily that's even.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know if you need that plot in the movie at all.
You
the
don't.
betrayal and like the friend versus friend thing at the end, and I don't. I think you could just drop that out.
Yeah, and that's to me the sign that this was, sorry whoever wrote this, but an immature writer, and that's like because you're right. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't serve the story in any way.
Yeah,
and that's where you know you're watching a schlocky movie.
Yeah, sort of like what we said about the meth head mom thing. It's like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It feels sort of irrelevant overall
in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
To the film.
Sorry. Okay, so what I took from it is like girls fight all the time and they'll stop being friends. Guys will fucking kick the shit out of each other and
because
they'll say one word to each other and then it's brotherhood of steel.
Yeah, they come right back.
Right, and and in the end they do reconcile and fight evil together and all that shit. But I just didn't feel like that really needed. I don't think it served much of a purpose overall, aside from just to like sort of muddy the waters between these two characters and make you sit there and wait for when eventually this information is going to come back.
You're 100% correct. Yeah, you're absolutely to muddy the waters is a great phrase to use there, and then you're right. It's pieced in there simply for the purpose of bringing it back later.
Yeah,
that's
because
how it feels,
you know that there's no way that he's gonna like scam his chick,
obviously,
and then it's just not gonna come up later.
Yeah, you're right.
And of course, they wait until the moment in the film,
penultimate.
Right when things are at their worst for them to turn on each other, and naturally, So okay, so let's just do greatest hits from here. Essentially, like
hell yeah,
the best moments.
Because a lot of it goes from it goes through the pacing of the plot, but a lot of it from here on out is the carnage. Similar to how Mayhem, it starts off with a bit of story and it hits a point, and then it's just blood, death, and kills. Yeah, and there's some good ones in this.
Yeah, these are. It's interesting that you guys both picked these movies. I think without knowing that they would match up. But yes, these are very birds of a feather movies.
It's a few times that's happened, and I think it's probably just because we're all relatively similar in our tastes. There's not a lot of diversity on this podcast. But we didn't know we were picking these, and they do sync up fairly well.
I think one moment that stood out to me between the sort of like unleashing of the chaos and there's two really cheap effects. One is the fire that I mentioned when the town's on fire, and you can literally see that it's like five of the same fire. That they had they're like, we got this fire effect, and they're just like
point and click.
Exactly. Just point and click 5 times on the town skin.
The Endless had a similar
on the house.
The digital again, which is why it's so noticeable. The digital fire is always very noticeable. So there was that, and then the other cheap effect they do to sort of sell the chaos is where they're driving across town, and there's just a bunch of scenes of people running, looking crazy, and jumping on each other and stuff. And I like to think that it was the same 7 people just
going back and forth,
just changing each other, and then
it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so if you notice, a lot of the possessed people are the exact same people you see get killed early on.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
You see Brody's cousin's friend. You see him 8 times in the final battle. They keep repeating fucking. Yeah. I know they didn't have a big budget for this movie, and they spend a lot of practical effects,
fake blood.
Yeah.
Great friends. One thing that made me laugh is that Buddy's his friends don't really have weapons. So one of them has a paintball gun and the other one has Hulk gloves.
I loved the Hulk.
The Hulk gloves made me laugh. The Hulk gloves made me laugh because it's bro, these are just they're not stronger because they're cushioned.
They're full.
Have you actually been hit by the actual Hulk hands? They hurt.
They're
they're not gonna kill a demon, but they're gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Because they're that weird foam.
Yeah.
That was weird.
What I didn't buy is how she became a badass so quick.
No, of course not.
They kind of get into it by she listens.
They show her listening to the music,
and then
It's funny because she has the same vision almost that he does.
Yeah.
There's still 2 topless.
Still 2 girls.
There's still 2 topless chicks making out at her feet.
Yeah.
Which is that's funny because obviously she's into him.
Yeah.
So it's why is there still 2 topless chicks making out? Right. It's I don't know.
Why not?
It is funny though. That was a funny moment. What do you guys have any other greatest hits moments?
I liked dual wielding chainsaw Zach. I thought that was pretty cool.
Jumping off the tires.
Jumping off the tires.
I gotta say that is a good. I didn't remember that, but that's a good one. That was very. As the movie kind of ramps up at the end, I was getting a lot of Doom vibes.
Yeah, there was some sick rip.
And then the chainsaw, the recurring chainsaw thing, really especially dual chainsaw, jumping, spinning, cutting off fucking.
That's so cool. And they must have really wanted to put that in there. That's such a good shot.
Before Zach has the corpse paint, they're in the school and he's got dual chainsaws. He's. Can you pull me off?
Yeah.
And she looks at him like, what?
Yeah.
So he looks at the chainsaw. Like,
right. There was also, as corny and immature as it is, I always appreciate a good dildo anal bead beating that happened in the parents' house. We don't have to go back that far.
A beating or a beading? Who's to say?
Well, maybe it's both.
The really Christian parents or aunt and uncle have so many sex. It's
of
also labeled church stuff.
Yeah.
Which is the fun. I wonder how many fucking religious people are like anal bead. Yeah. It's a rosary. Yeah. And he smells it. He's like, Brody smells it and he shakes his head like kind of puts it away.
Well, and then Zach. See, like Zach, even though Zach's kind of a bastard, he has these endearing qualities where he like deliberately puts it in his face, even kind of like gets it into his mouth.
Yeah, into his mouth. Yeah. And one of the very next time he kills her during that scene, he's fucking stabbing him in the mouth with the dildo, right?
Yes.
He's dead to kill it. So there's some great lines too in this movie, like Zach's dad dies and he's like, yeah, that's how he would have wanted to go.
Yes. And he's like
his eyes ripped out, his face grinded off, and an engine smashed on his head, and he's like, yeah, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And since we're talking about that's the Zach freakout scene. Yeah. And I gotta say, the acting in this movie, overall pretty dodgy.
Yeah.
But we're like an indie New Zealand movie,
very indie,
super low budget. Yeah. So
the Dead Alive acting wasn't that great either.
No, but I think it worked better in that movie because that movie is so corny on purpose. The entire movie is just non-stop cheese.
Yeah.
So cheesy acting doesn't even stand out.
Well, these guys were huge fans of Bad Taste and Brain Dead.
Yeah, this movie.
That's why he's wearing Jaws is wearing a Bad Taste shirt.
Hence,
and he wears
New Zealand, obviously. Yeah,
and also I don't think New Zealand has a lot of horror movies. I know now they've got a couple more. But
Dead Alive would be seen for sure as the pinnacle of New Zealand.
Also, it's Peter Jackson.
Okay, so yes. Anyway, a bunch of killing happens. Deadites get iced, and then we basically, again, I don't know. There are some schlocky elements that I don't really get. But particularly at the end, where both of there's 5 people alive at the end.
Yeah, it's the 5.
It's the 4 friends and the chick.
Yeah,
Medina.
She can be a friend too.
Of course she can.
No.
The two sort of superfluous friends, Dion and Giles, get killed back to back.
Yeah. Very
suddenly, and it kind of feels like it's just to randomly up the stakes at the end.
Yeah.
And then what's her name also dies. This person who we now think is the main villain dies, and then Zach suddenly becomes the main villain at the end. And then I don't know, it's just. As much I'm not trying to say that I didn't like the movie because I had a good time with it. Mm-hmm. In fact, I watched it 1.5 times. The first I watched it half and then kind of tuned out and then came back and rewatched the entire thing.
Right.
But I didn't start from the 40-minute mark. I started from the beginning and rewatched
back.
So I was I genuinely was having a pretty good time with this movie.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but notice. There's a lot of flaws. There's a lot of flaws mixed in with the things that I was enjoying in this movie.
I think this movie you could probably jump in at any point
and get what it's about.
You don't really need to have the whole exposition of we need to start a metal band because we're the only 2 metalheads and my 2 other friends aren't metalheads and the love interest. If you just skip to the kills, you've pretty much gotten the whole gist of what's going on, but. it's an enjoyable movie.
It's totally fine. And very much again in the vein of Mayhem.
Yeah,
very much just a movie that like.
And like
it's not necessarily a great movie, but worth watching enough for a horror fan who just wants to see a bunch of like wanton violence.
And like, so we're kind of doing final thoughts. Do we want to keep that rolling a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, before we like, let's put a pin in that for a second and wrap the plot up.
Sure.
So, yeah, the girl. Who we don't even know what her fucking name is, essentially.
She rips her shirt off.
Yeah. She becomes... She's who we think is the main villain.
Yeah.
And then it swaps to... she dies. Does Zach kill her?
Zach kills
her.
Zach takes the Minotaur.
Which in doing so makes him the most evil. And
now he's right. We didn't explain that, but yes, the demon who they're summoning picks the darkest person.
Yeah. Which is Zach.
Now it's Zach, and then Zach turns, and Brody has to fight Zach.
Yeah.
And of course, the tragic sacrifice is, you have to kill me before it comes back.
Yeah.
You know, the classic. No.
Sorry, the naked chick, the one that's trying to get the possession.
Yeah.
She says something really funny when she kills the boss that you think is the boss. And
yes.
She goes, you have like stabs him through the throat, like through the mouth.
No, who's got
no gag reflex now?
Yeah, something like that.
And then he like spits up blood. That I thought that was fucking hilarious.
It's just the problem is it's just not earned because she's not even a character when that happens.
It's just
she's seen we've seen her once and she was blowing him. And so her kill reference is a reference to that, but she's not even a character when that happens. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like there are things to enjoy in this movie. It's just it's half baked. It's probably the term I would use.
It's undercooked.
Yeah.
Cooked beans.
Beans. Indeed, very
cooked beans.
Very cooked beans indeed. But yeah, that takes us to the end of the movie. Zach and Brody have their little final fight or whatever, and then we cut to. Again, I don't know. What are we doing with this epilogue?
I don't know.
Like literally, what are we doing with this epilogue?
It's just there for shits and
giggles. It's like, well, they lived happily ever after, or did they?
No, they did.
And then they cut to because they have like a brief. Zach might still be alive, or he's a demon.
He's a spirit.
Yeah, he's a spirit.
So
it doesn't do anything.
No. During the ice cream scene, she's showing him like very risque tattoo spots, and then she gets a tattoo just on her forearm that he designed.
Yes.
And then she goes home, and Zach pops up on the record player and. I'm gonna eat your testicle, and
then he's like, "Just kidding," or whatever. And then it's like the end, and I'm like, "Okay, but what does that actually do for the movie?" Which is nothing.
I think it's just to say that like Zach's so evil that he can manifest himself into.
But that doesn't do anything for the movie. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't do anything.
It's a Francis Ford Coppola film. What are you talking about?
Yes. I mean,
on that note,
there was it certainly puts the apocalypse in Apocalypse Now.
I didn't even go with that one. That was the first character's name I thought of.
Movie nerd over here. So overall, my final thoughts. I kind of was in the same realm of Mayhem last week, since we keep referencing Mayhem.
Yeah.
Is I kind of had that sort of like 2.5-ish. And I don't think everybody would come to the 2.5 to 3
I come
range.
to 2.5 or 3 all the time.
Yes. I don't think everybody would get there. I think we're uniquely positioned to enjoy something like this.
Totally.
Because we're metalhead horror nerds.
Because I wouldn't even put it that high, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that was kind of where I was sitting, was in that 2 to 2.5 range.
Sure.
But that's because I'm basically the target audience for this. So I'm even, despite the fact I've been pretty critical of the movie throughout.
Yeah.
I still had a pretty good time with it, but I don't think necessarily people who aren't into metal would get that much out of this.
Yeah. the creators of the film, I can't remember the director's name for the life of me. The fans have been trying to get the sequel funded for since the movie came out, and they just got their funding raised, so the sequel is in the works.
Oh, cool!
Yeah. And it's got a lot more big metal bands.
Awesome! I'll definitely watch the sequel. I had wanted to watch this movie for a long time. I had seen that still multiple times, and I knew what Dethgasm was. I just had never gotten around to it. And despite my criticism, I'm not sorry that I watched it. I would watch more of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though I'm being critical of it, I still had a pretty good time with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's a really fun movie. Mm-hmm. And where a lot of my picks have been, in my opinion, good movies, this is actually a pretty decent, fun movie.
It is.
And
yeah.
I had a good time. I had a good time watching it, despite its flaws.
It's a metalhead popcorn flick. It's essentially what it is. Yeah. It's unless you weren't a metalhead, you're not going to get half the shit.
That's what I mean. I don't think necessarily that people who aren't into metal would have a good time with this movie.
Right.
It might help them to understand metal if they care. Even if that's something they're even interested in learning about, it might help them to understand their metalhead friends or whatever. But otherwise, I don't necessarily think there's a lot for horror fans who are non-metalheads to come to in this movie.
Specifically this movie. Yeah. There's other movies that do action and gore and horror better, I guess. But,
most definitely.
But this is definitely in that.
We had off air. We had mentioned Hellraiser recently, and that's more of a metal adjacent horror movie that doesn't people who are not metalheads can still enjoy.
It doesn't lean into the music aspect of it, but it's metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Clive Barker more goes with the dark, romanticized songs over. Because I think Hellraiser, if they had straight metal, it'd be weird.
It would be weird, yeah. But also, it was made in a time where
metal wasn't as mainstream. There. Yeah. Not even close. Yeah. But that wraps us up essentially for Dethgasm.
I didn't even say Dethgasm.
I'm not. I know my voice is very loud, so I'm not going to explode the fucking mic doing my Dethgasm.
The whole room explodes.
All the windows blow out. Yeah, but I mean, pretty fun time. Not necessarily for everybody, but
it's fun.
Worth watching if you're a metalhead who enjoys a lot of violence. Essentially,
I knew you guys were going to enjoy this movie.
Well, and that's we're easy.
I knew you were going to love it.
We are the target audience. Yeah, we are the target audience for a film like this, essentially.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was fun. I didn't love it. I actually had to watch it twice because I think I zoned out the first time, and I liked it more the second time through because I think I watched it just for what it was. The first time it was so jarring how bad it was that I had a hard time looking past it actually, and then going back and just watching it real quick just for the action and the blood and the gore, it was and enjoying the metal aspect. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, overall, certainly a reasonably good time.
Yep.
Not gonna blow any minds or anything.
No, get some popcorn and some pop and have some fun.
Yeah, essentially. Yep. But that takes us to the end of our Dethgasm episode, and I think it's 1, 2. Oh, it's my pick.
It's you.
It's me.
It's you.
It's me. Yes. So, I've been reading this book, The Great Mortality, about the Black Death. So my next pick is actually Black Death with John Bean.
Oh, good movie.
Sweet. I think I've seen this.
It's a
sick movie.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I've noticed, what I've been thinking is the last few episodes, Weapons, Mayhem, and Dethgasm are very silly horror comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think we need something dour.
I agree.
Dour and dark and fucked up to kind of shake the room up a bit. And I'm reading The Great Mortality, which is a history of the Black Death.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think the Black Death is exactly the kind of movie we need.
You know what? I was feeling the same thing, so I'm glad you picked something like that.
I
know what my next pick is going to be, and it's also going to be much more into the horror realm because I feel like we've deviated a touch.
Yeah, so we've kind of been on a bit of a tangent of really silly horror comedies. Yeah. So I'm like, let's bring the fucking darkness back. Let's bring the darkness back.
The cockles of our soul to demise into a smoldering ball of pain.
Yes. That was awesome.
Precisely. So yeah, we will be having not one but 2 Game of Thrones alums in the next episode.
That's sick. Hell yeah.
For Black Death. But until then, we'll see you in
7 days.
And until then,
Keep your eyes open.
and we're out of here. Bye.